Hey everybody, how's it going? We are here with a general and timeless reading. Before we get started, let's set the intention for this to be a space where everyone allows themselves to feel seen and validated, and ultimately for this to be a safe space and a healing space in alignment with everyone's highest good. All right, I'm seeing you try to figure something out. To have the Six of Cups here, this can be like reminiscent of something that you've done before, but it can also be a mixture or an element of nostalgia that's sort of involved in this process for you. I want to see the outlay of this. The Ace of Wands wanted to come out. You may have an upcoming opportunity. We're starting off with the Hierophant. It can be a focus on commitments, on what you believe, how you believe is the right way to take action moving forward. Oh, interesting combination. We have the Hierophant, we have the Devil. And the Wheel of Fortune. Is there some strong earth energies? It looks like there's a climate shift that's happening. In certain ways, this looks like a form of radicalism to me, where the devil can be like the illusion in the ways that we misconstrue things, and it's like a desire to reach the light, but we go about it in a distorted way, right? Because it's all based off of like attachments and dependencies and projections and things like that. And to have the Hierophant there can be like a cultural or a religious implication, or somebody being like, this is the right way to do things. But both of these cards can speak about control as well. So this can be controlling not from a place of love, but from a place of worldliness. If you hear a rambunctious running around, that's just O in the background. But yeah, to have the Wheel of Fortune, it shows that the tides are changing when it comes to the way that something has been being exercised and maybe even exploited. So we have the Wheel of Fortune and we also have the Death card. So it's like tides changing, times changing. The way that something had maybe been implied or impressed before is being prioritized in a different way. Because I'm seeing there be evolution that's feeling important to develop here in connection with the choices that are being made. And even though the Death card is here, meaning that certain things may come sorry, I'm just laughing at her. Certain things may come to an end, certain things may come to a beginning. Maybe we're not going to do certain things anymore. Maybe we're going to start doing other things now. There's something here about the way that beliefs are applied within the 3D, because I see the Hierophant as representing things connected with the 9th house, but it also represents Taurus. And Taurus is connected with our traditions and the ways that we do things, and that's why it's associated with our values and what's important to us and our traditions and our cultures and the languages that we speak and our religions, if we didn't say that already, our belief systems, our spirituality, what we see and believe beyond even the 3D. But to have the Devil, this can be like the ways that religion or belief systems or morals are even misconstrued and then applied within like a community or within the world. To have the Wheel of Fortune, this is represented by Jupiter, and Jupiter is about seeing things from a bigger perspective and being able to take smaller pieces and string them together and understand like the through line between everything. And it also speaks about like the elevated mind as well. It's our connection with our higher selves. It's a benevolent energy. And it's one that's about growing and learning and understanding. And it's always seeking the light, seeking the truth. And to have also the Death card here as well, which speaks about major transformation. There could be some like religious or cultural reckoning that's happening of some sort, and it's sort of like this new reform that's coming through, like the people or the beings that are on the side of the change are like figuring out how to do that and how to prioritize that at this time. This can also be a personal thing that you're going through if we're taking it down to a micro level rather than a macro level, which even if it's on a micro level, it's going to be reflected on a macro level. You could have had certain beliefs and now you're getting to the point where you're like, are these just arbitrary, or are these damaging, or are these hurtful things that I've been maintaining at this point, or is it stunting my growth, or did I buy into some sort of illusion? You know, stuff like that, where you may be questioning things and being like, is this toxic? Is this unhealthy? Is this not conducive to a loving environment? Is it not allowing for me to grow? Is it not allowing for the people around me to grow? Like, what standards am I holding people to? So it's questioning things like that. And then with Jupiter here, it's like this higher understanding and sort of this overture that's taking place here that's leading to some sort of revolution, internally, externally, and finding one's way through that, where there's going to be a development that's connected with your spirituality and your sense of energy, how you perceive yourself and the universe around you, and also how you apply that to the 3D, which is connected with the Devil card. So this is like a lot of big stuff that's happening here, a lot of big movements. Hierophant can also represent establishments as well. But I'm seeing, like, with the Devil coming out, it seems like certain things are being outed. Like, if things had been hidden before, they're coming to light or being brought to light or being labeled at this point, or, like, valued in a particular way that may be different than how it was valued before in the past. Something is going to take the Death card is like a long transition. It's not a quick turnover. It's something that's going to take time because there's like evolution backing it. And so it's not something that can really be rushed. I'm seeing one be at a point where needing to prioritize like the speed at which things are moving and changing, to be able to balance the flow of change properly to allow it to fully express itself. I'm seeing there also be a reflection now as well on like what motivates you and what impulses you buy into, what attracts you as well. This is like, I'm going to recognize what calls to me and what speaks to me and what makes me want to take action, because these are like all the things that you want to go after. Like, I see this as being your motivation and your ambition and what excitement you seek in life and what you fancy and what magnetizes you and attracts you and what you want to chase. Things like that. But rather than taking action and doing that, we have the Hermit here, which means rather than me giving into all of these thoughts and impulses and knee-jerk reactions, I'm actually going to sit and think about it before I take action. I'm going to reflect on it. I'm going to observe it. So there's now a separation between the thought and identifying with the thought, the feeling and identifying with the feeling. Because I'm seeing you get to a space where you may be realizing that just caving into what your human carnally is desiring may get you in a space where you feel like you fall deeper and deeper into attachment, addiction, dependency. Because I'm seeing this Knight of Wands actually lead into the Devil, and that's what's being reflected upon. It's interesting though, like the juxtaposition of the Hierophant here and how that's going to be expressed, because you could have been doing things from a space where you felt there was like some sort of even moral high ground, or this could have been somebody that you were experiencing as well. And there's something here that like doesn't necessarily go together, but one may not have been seeing how they contradicted, how these two things that were happening. It's like a belief system is contradicting how one may have been behaving and what they may have been doing, and the result that comes from that. Because I'm seeing a result that just would trap someone, and that's what's bringing a person to sort of want to separate enough from this to analyze it. Because say you do things and you think that you're doing it for the right reasons, and it's like yielding these results that you're like, I feel more miserable, I feel more stuck, I feel more dependent, I feel unhappy, I feel like I'm giving away my autonomy and my power. So you get to that point where you're seeing the result and you're like, even though maybe I thought that I was doing things in a way that made sense or the right way for me, or I was just doing what felt natural to me, whatever, you're getting to this point where you're like, but I don't like this feeling, I don't like the results that this is yielding, and so it's making me take a step back and look at this, and I want to see the bigger picture now. So it's like an overview that's happening, which can be very difficult too, because it's like separating your spirit from the body that it's currently occupying as well, and being able to separate in order to observe more objectively. I'm seeing a very big realization that's coming up here. To have the Wheel of Fortune and the Sun and the Death card. This is like your mind opening up and your mind expanding in a very big way. And it even like through karmic events that have happened as well with the Wheel of Fortune. Like you may be understanding how things come full circle now. Like there's a bigger understanding now that you're gaining. I'm also seeing the High Priestess like occupy this aspect now of you where you're learning how to manage and utilize your connection that you have and your ability to be in touch, and moving into a space where you're prioritizing that more, maybe when it comes to how you're doing things within your life, decisions that you're making, things that you're sorting out, things that you have to choose between and weigh. Decisions that need to be made, choices, recognizing what needs to be prioritized, what you need to face, what you need to think about, what can't be avoided anymore, what needs to come out from underneath the rug. There may have also been this like feeling all along that now you're becoming more savvy to. This is like your intuition and your higher self already know what decision needs to be made. This may have been something that you were avoiding, or maybe something that you were blind to, something that you weren't seeing before. This can be you being in some situation where you haven't been making a choice and maybe didn't even realize that you could make a choice within this. This is seeing something that you hadn't been seeing before. Seeing like a third path when you only thought that there were two. And you also, again, you could have been in a situation where you weren't realizing that you had a choice within that situation, and now you're realizing that. It's like something you didn't know was an option before. I'm getting, like, clearly, obviously, your higher self has known this the whole time. It just may have been something that you weren't consciously recognizing. But to have the Sun next to the High Priestess, this is like a realization, you being informed as to what your intuition is telling you. And it's connected with a very big mental change. Mental change with the Wheel of Fortune and the Death card. This is like a very big expanding of the mind, a very big opening up. And it's something that like brings a certain it's not just one epiphany, it's like a whole plane of consciousness now that you're connected with before that you weren't seeing. It's like needing to move through the gross matter of the universe, the gross matter of the world, gross meaning like physical, like dense, that you were moving through before. I will say this too, you may have had some sort of connection with like religion or culture or a way of being, and that was sort of in the like front of your brain and maybe traveled to the back, because then you being in a physical body called about other things and responses from you, that again you got to this point where it was yielding these results where you were like, I feel trapped. Because that's what what the devil does. What this card means is you see something and you're like, I want that because it's going to make me feel whole. It's going to make me feel happy. It's going to give me something that I perceive I'm missing and can't get on my own. And so that's why the dependency is created, but it's an illusion and it's something temporary. And that's why it breeds misery, because it has you feeling like you need more and more and more, and you need something outside of yourself and you're not going to get it. And so this is that, taking a step back and seeing that for what it is. It's an illusion, it's an attachment. That's what this is. And this is that pulling back to recognize. I pull back from this enough to be able to see it objectively and see that all that is an attachment. It's not the answer anymore. And this is like about time that this opening up of the mind has happened. This is Jupiter. It's the Sagittarian energy. It's like this realization, the epiphany, the connecting the dots that happens, and the sun is like the revelation, the illumination of that. And now this is also leading to a change and expansion of the way that you connect with your higher self. And now it seems like there's something that you're sorting through, that you're figuring out right now, maybe having to do with a choice that needs to be made, or you prioritizing things that need to be prioritized, now seeing things that need to be seen. So I'm looking at the moon, Scorpio, sun, Virgo, Capricorn, Taurus. All right, my friends, we are going to leave the reading here. I would like to thank everybody for tuning in. Thank you for connecting. I'm wishing everybody love and light and healing, and I hope to catch you guys next time.